Okay, here we go, guys. Now, again, for us today, this kind of is an extension of what we did yesterday. All right, so I'd like your attention, and then hopefully we'll get that early because I really would kind of like to give you the review. So maybe those of you guys who want to take a look at it tonight, you can get started on it. I think it's like 50 questions. All right, so I want to go ahead and try to take care of that. Now, honestly, I think the proportions are pretty easy for kids. All right. Now, again, I said you're allowed to use your calculator, so if you need to get your calculator out, that's probably a good idea. All right. And then let's go ahead and get started. So let's take a look at question number 1. All right. Number 1. Now, again, it says, at the same time, a 12-foot adult elephant casts a 4.8-foot shadow. All right, again, what? All right, all we're doing is we're setting up proportions. All right, we're setting up proportions. And for this proportion now, it says that you have a 12-foot elephant. Now, I'm putting an E right there for the what? Elephant. Now, the elephant casts a what? 4.8-foot shadow. Now, on this proportion, I have the elephant on top and I have the shadow on the bottom. So when I make the proportion, when I set something equal, I know what's going to go on top. The elephant, and what's going to go on the bottom? The shadow. All right, the elephant's going to go on top, and the shadow's going to go on the bottom. All right, so now again, just to make sure you're hearing me, the 12-foot elephant is on the top. Then I put the 4.8-foot shadow on the bottom. So now, what goes on the top?
On the top goes X.
The top is the size of the elephant. But do we know the size of the elephant?
No.
No. So he is absolutely correct. So we would put an X on the top. Now it says a 2-foot shadow. So that has to go where?
On the bottom.
That has to go on the bottom. All right. So there is your proportion. All right. Now that you have your proportion, it's kind of what we did yesterday. All right. We're going to try to cross multiply and divide. Now, I would prefer that when you cross multiply, you say 4.8x is equal to 24. Does everybody see that?
Oh,
All right. Now, the elephant and the shadow, those letters are there just to show you what goes on the top of the fraction and what goes on the bottom of the fraction. All right. Now, after you cross multiply, we divide. So x is equal to what?
5.
So the baby elephant would be 5 foot tall. All right. May I have any questions with that? Or like I said, I thought we did a good job yesterday, so I think this is just an extension of what we did yesterday. All right. Setting up proportions, one of the most important things we do. It's on all standardized tests. All right. So again, here we go now. Let's take a look at the next one. It says, a 12-meter tall airplane hangar casts an 18-foot shadow. All right? Yes. What?
Can I do it?
Yeah.
So it would be 12 over 18.
So we're going to put 12. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure we put that it's the 12-meter. Well, we don't have to put the meter, but we have to put what it is. And that's the hangar, correct? And then on the bottom, you said it was a what? 18 what?
18-meter shadow.
The shadow. So notice again, I'm putting the letters so I know what goes on the next fraction. All right? So now I have equals. Now continue.
That would be x over 6.
Because 6 meters represents the shadow. So I'm going to put 6 feet down here and x here. All right. Now again, basically we're going to cross multiply. So when we cross multiply, I get 18x is equal to,
72.
and then when I multiply 12 times 6, I get 72. And after I cross multiply, divide.
You get 4.
So I ended up with x being 4. Now for what?
For, would that be?
What units are we measuring in? Come on, guys. What units are we measuring in? Meters. All right. So M would stand for meters. All right. Now, again, hopefully you agree. It's very similar to what we did yesterday. Number 3 now. It says, suppose a Ferris wheel is 160 feet high and it casts a shadow that is 64 feet long. So, Caroline, how am I going to set this one up? 160 over 64. Now, the only thing I want you to do is when 160 represents the what? The height, yes. And 64 represents the what? The shadow. Okay? Yes, exactly. X over 2.8. Very good. X is equal to what? 7 what? Yeah, 7 feet. All right. Now again, remember, guys, I don't really want you just writing this down. All right, I want you to make sure you're with me on it. Julian, you good? Okay. Anybody have any questions? Yes. You good? Anybody have any issues? All right. Now let's skip 4 for a second. 5 is the same principle, right? All right, let's try 5. Who wants to give 5 a shot? All right, Will, tell me. No. 99 represents the shadow. Right? Okay, now they're trying to mix things up. All right, so the silo casts a shadow that's 99 feet long. All right, so what's the height of the silo? Do we know? So that's what? That's the unknown. That's the X. All right, so the 99-foot shadow goes to the silo, which we have no idea. All right, but next to the silo, there's a what?
Yeah.
So where would the 18 go? Is it on the top or the bottom? Now, the reason why I'm asking you these questions, that's why, listen, look up. What is the 99, what does the S stand for? The shadow. All right? The silo, right? That represents the height. Do you agree? So now my question to you is the 18 feet, is that the height or is that the shadow of the barn? So next to the silo is an 18-foot tall barn. So where would that go? On the top or the bottom? Why do you think it's on the top? What's on the top of the fraction? Bless you. It's the shadow. The shadow is on the... You guys are interrupting constantly. I don't want you talking. I'm trying to help Will. What's on the top of our fraction here? The shadow. What's on the bottom? The height. So now my question to you is the 18-foot tall barn.
It's on the bottom.
Because why?
Because
That's right. The height. Exactly. Now you understand what I'm trying to tell you. All right, so the 18 would go on the bottom, and what would go on the top? Because that is a what? 13.5 is a shadow. Exactly. 13.5 is on top because it goes with the shadow. All right, now when I cross multiply, what do I get? Right. 1,700 and what? Okay. Everybody else is keeping up with me now. Everybody else is keeping up. And then what? Right. And what did you get? 132 feet. Did anybody else get 132 feet?
Yes.
All right. Good. All right. Very good. Now, Will, I need you to concentrate because you're not as good as you should be right now. You with me on that? You got to understand where the numbers go on the fractions. All right, then you cross multiply and divide. Everybody should be trying it. All right. Now let's go on to question number 6. All right. Question number 6. It says in New Salem, North Dakota, there's a 38-foot tall statue of a cow named Salem Sue. Suppose that the statue's shadow was 57 feet long, and a 3-foot or 3.5-foot child was standing next to the statue. How long would the child's shadow be? All right, Jess. You ready? Tell me what to do. Tell me what the proportion I'm setting up.
Okay. So the shadow would go on top.
Okay, so what shadow am I doing?
The shadow is 57.
Good. So she put 57, and then she put S next to shadow over what?
And then, okay, so then you would put 38 on
That's correct. And 38 represents the what?
the height.
There you go. All right, very good. Equals. Now, where does?
And then 3.5 would go under.
Yes, very good. Because 3.5 represents the height of the child.
Yeah.
Very good. And now we're trying to find the shadow.
Yeah. Oh.
Very good, very good. All right, so when you cross multiply, you get 38x is equal to, what's 57 times 3.5?
I got 199.5.
Does anybody else get 199.5?
Yes.
All right, and then once you divide, what are you getting?
I got 5.
5.25. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
5.25
38 times.
foot shadow. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, yes, ma'am.
Only a
Shh, hold up. No, the shadow doesn't matter if it goes on the top or the bottom. But if you put it on the top, it has to be on the top. Right? If you put it on the bottom, both shadows have to be where? On the bottom. If both heights are on top, both shadows are on the bottom. You with me on that? You can't mix up the height and shadow. Cannot mix up the height and shadow. All right. So now I want to take a look now at question number 7. All right. Julia, you want to give me a shot on that one? Yeah. Now again, Julia, tell me what similar means. You remember? Yeah, but that's true. Somebody else help her out with similar. Yeah, the same shape, but different size. You with me on that? Which is what a proportion is, which is what you said. You can either multiply by 2, maybe divide by 2. All right, that just means it's either bigger or taller or smaller. You with me on this? All right, so now I need you to figure out how I would set this up. Go ahead. Very good job, girl. 20 over 48 is equal to? Very nice work, kiddo. Very nice. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. And what'd you get? 13.2. We would say miles. Very good. That's perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right, Abby, let's look at the next one. So when you set this one up for me, what am I trying to find? All right, so I'm trying to find the distance between the skate park. Uh-oh. So that's the unknown, right? But look here, everybody look up. They're asking for what, though? That whole distance, do you agree?
Yeah.
Right? So the first thing I have to do is find x. So how would I set that up? X over 12. So far, so good. X over 12 is equal to 52.5 over 15. That's perfect, kiddo. So now, multiply that out for me. Well, what's 12 times 52.5? 630, right? And so x, you were right. X is equal to what? 42. Oh. Was it 42 you said? Yeah. Is everybody okay with that being 42?
Yeah.
All right. Now, is that the correct answer, though? Very good. All right. So the final answer would be 42 plus 12, which is 54 feet. Thank you. The reason why you're adding 12. Yes. So the distance from here to here is 12. And we just found the distance from the skate park to there, which was 42 feet. We needed the total. All right, we needed the total. All right. Now listen, everybody, want everybody to go back. The only one we really didn't answer is 4, correct? Yeah, let's just everybody go back and answer 4. All right. If you skipped it, just go ahead and do it. Colin, did you get that one right? Did you do 4?
Yes.
What did you get?
5.
The height is.
Or do you want me to say?
No, I just want you to tell me what you got.
I got 432 feet.
432 feet. Now, did anybody else get 432 feet for number 4?
Yes.
Allison got that?
That is true.
Yes.
I got 12.
Did you get that? Everybody check on number 4 now. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying if everybody got 432, we don't have to do it. If you didn't get 432, I want to do it. Okay, now let's see where we made our mistake then. All right, that's why I was trying to make sure you heard me, Will. You listened to me? You learned to set it up right now. Everything's going to be fine. All right, so you gotta make sure you're good because it's really easy. Okay, so the first thing is a building casts a 72-foot long shadow, right, Will? Yeah. So I would put down right off the bat 72-foot shadow. You with me on that? And then it says a garage next to the building is 27 feet high, right? Now, that has nothing to do with the 72, right? So where would the 27 go, on the top or the bottom? Because the shadow goes where? There you go, man. So put a 27 for the height, and that height casts a 4.5 shadow. Do you agree with that now? And now I have this x. All right? Now when you cross multiply, tell me what 27 times 72 is. Anybody else get 1944? And then divide by 4.5. How much? Yes, 432 feet. You good with that? Anybody else have any questions with that? All right. So again, I think that's the first worksheet knocked out. All right. Now listen, What I want to do now is I really kind of want to stop here, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put online the what? What type of worksheet?
Review.
The review. Why do I want you to start the review?
Because there's 50 questions.
Yeah, it's 50 questions, so I don't think I can do 50 questions tomorrow, right? So what am I asking you to do tonight? Just start studying. Does everybody agree with me? Start doing the problems. All right, I'll probably be able to do 25 tomorrow. Is everybody with me? So if you go home and do the first 25 and see what you're doing, they should be relative. It's kind of an easy chapter, in my opinion, right? Proportions, cross, multiply, divide, reduce fractions, some other basic things. Yes.
Are both worksheets homework?
No, listen, I said you don't have to do the second worksheet now. All right, because the second worksheet's very similar to the what? And you thought the first one's relatively easy, so, right, I would rather just start the review now. You hear me? All right, so stop what you're doing, and let me add the review.